And we are live.
All right.
So we're live. You can't see us yet. We're going to play the intro, but I just want to do a test. I'm going to go around the room. Cody, say something. We are live.
Hello there, everybody. Please. All right. Don't fuck us up.
We're live. Hold on. I had to mute my YouTube screen. Okay. CP, say something.
Yes, something special.
Okay, they hear Cody. Do you hear me? I think they do.
I'm here too.
Okay.
Oh, I see it.
Lindsay.
All right. Hello, Cody.
Brian.
So you must hear me.
Say hi, Brian.
Lee, you have an echo.
Hello, can you hear me? Apparently I have to project tonight.
Is your microphone on, Lee? Because I don't see the blue light.
All right,
Yeah,
CP,
it's on.
Cody, Lee.
Okay.
Oh, the echo's going to go away because I
Lynn.
turned off the thing. The echo should be going in a
She's
second.
good too.
Okay.
All right,
Lee is good. Cody's good. CP is good. Hear Lindsay.
Is Bryan good?
Can anybody hear
Brian's
Bryan?
good. I can. Oh,
Bryan.
well, of course I can hear him, but yeah, everybody's saying they hear us. Do you hear Brian? Say you hear Brian.
Yes, Bryan has been talking. Can anybody hear you? Hear Bryan.
Anybody hear me? Because apparently my microphone is gone a little bit cracked.
Bryan is faint.
That means they can hear him. Okay.
Cue intro.
Cue
Brian.
intro. Here we go.
Tell us something we don't know.
Yeah.
Brian is good. Tell us something we don't know.
Rockin', fucking roll. Chicago.
I don't always recognize me, not even my own face. I can't take the ups and downs, so I have to take these pills.
What is up, everybody? It's time for the Scream stream to return. I have my partners in horror crime. I got Lindsay. Say hello, Lindsay.
Hey, everybody.
All right. Cody.
What is up?
Uh-oh, I hear somebody's...
Oh man,
Who's that?
Who's the redheaded stepchild of the group?
Bryan.
Bryan. Every time.
There's CP. CP's got his Drumdums shirt on. That's awesome. Your check's in the mail, sir. That's your name.
Hi.
Brian, how you doing, buddy?
I'm alright. A bit low, so I need to project.
Yes.
You actually sound beautiful right now, actually.
Yeah, you sound better now.
Yeah, you sound
Alright,
great.
good.
I love you even more. Okay. I'm going to click over here to the chat real quick and say hello to a few people because that's what we do on the Scream stream. Now, let me click over. Hey, this is my show. Don't mess.
I don't know what just happened.
Guys, put your shit on mute, huh? Let's start with that.
Let me hit my pop-out chat here and see if it pops up. Okay. I see Simon Moon. I see... Oh, I'm reading upside down. Whitney Ryan Garrity. Brandon Tabato. Beth S. Hello, Beth. Blake G. Robert Nickerson. Vicky from Nightmare Maven. How are you doing? Michael Myers, my favorite person. Tommy Gibbons. Kevin Smart. Tons of beautiful people in the chat. We got a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about witches. We're going to be talking about true crime. And we're going to talk about some killer flicks drama.
Some.
That's going to be fun.
So strap in, everybody.
Strap in. And then we'll close it out with some news.
Goodness.
I guess first off, do we want to address, I guess, what happened in Killer
I
Flicks
want to
earlier
dress,
today?
yes. Preferably.
Well, first, thank you to Tom Ferreira for that donation.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
Because I missed that. Thank you very much. Did he have a topic?
He recommended a bunch of creepypastas. Slenderman. Hold on. You should watch Marble Hornets, Everyone Hybrid, 12 Tribe 12, excuse me, Dark Harvest, M.L. Anderson Zero, which are all Slenderman found footage YouTube series because they are really good.
Well, I'm
Not
sure
a
it's
question,
better than
just
the
a
movie.
suggestion. Ugh.
Yeah.
Did any of you see the Slender Man movie? No, I'm the only
No.
one that
Yeah,
suffered
wait
through
for
this
that.
madness.
I put my nether bits through a cheese grater and figured that was probably a better time.
That would have been more entertaining. Because, good God, this movie was.
I wouldn't be able to get
horrible.
a PG-13 rating on that, though. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start out with that little Killer Flicks. I've almost forgotten what it was about.
That's
Which
good.
one?
That's good.
It was about the
Which
Halloween drama. And
Oh God, yeah.
this guy posted Stephen Kennedy. I'll say his name. Nothing against Stephen Kennedy. He was
Yeah,
just
he meant nothing bad by it, really.
nothing at all. He was just he was voicing an opinion. Something was bothering him. He wasn't the first to do this. I have no problem with Stephen Kennedy, but his problem was that there was way too many posts, Halloween posts in Killer Flicks, and so. Because I respond to a lot of these, and I responded to this one. I was like, you know what? I'll test his theory. I scrolled, and I found like 33 posts, and out of those 33 posts, only one was directly related to the Halloween franchise. All the other ones were non-Halloween topics. Then all of a sudden, this guy, should I even say his name?
Yeah, go ahead. Fuck him. Fuck him.
It's your
Felix,
house.
I'll just say Felix the asshole came in there, and his agenda was apparent really quickly. All he wanted to do was troll, and to prove his point, he actually did a screenshot of a search for Halloween posts. What do you think you're gonna find when you search for Halloween posts? Bingo.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nothing but Lee.
So yeah, it was pretty. Lindsay, I know Lindsay got involved in there. She was a little bit perturbed. What was your thought process, Lindsay, going through this thing?
I just, at first I saw Steven's post, and I was like, ooh, I've barely even had a sip of my coffee. Like, that's a lot of reading first thing in the morning. But I, kind of perused through it at first, and I was just, scrolling down through the comments, because I saw a lot of comments already. And I was like, what really is going on? So I went back up, read all of it, and then I was going down to comment, and I saw you had commented, and there was a couple comments underneath that, and I can't even remember what word stuck out to me, but it was something that made me want to click that sub feed.
Yeah.
And I opened that, and the first thing I saw was this Felix guy saying oh, I understand, you're here to bully, and went off that way. And as soon as I saw him call you a bully,
I'm a bully.
Oh, I took a moment, and I took a couple breaths, and I was like, nope, not working. And I just I tried to be as nice as possible at first. I did. And I told him there's no bullying going on here. And if you want to see that, I'd be more than happy to fulfill that role for you.
Yeah.
And then he was saying I was threatening him. And then later he was saying I was trying to convince, intimidate him into leaving the group. I'm like, I didn't intimidate at all. My question is why the F are you here if it bothers you so much? Why are you still here?
I took
And then
the high
he just went
road
through
and
Mean Girl memes for 25 minutes.
yeah. I told him he was right about everything, just because I was like, okay, there's no way that you're gonna beat him at his game, I guess you could say. I could have avoided him. I guess that's probably what I should have done. But what I said was you're right about this, you're right about this, you're right about this, whatever. And then after that, everybody else was just like, why are you, everyone was mad at me for why are you bowing down to this idiot? And I don't know. I guess it's just, I think I'm more of a sissy than a bully, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, and the way that you automatically went into almost apology mode with him, saying like, you know what, like if like this is how I came across, I'm really sorry. That's not what I intended. I'm like, no, fuck that. He's not a bully.
Can I just note that Lindsay said F 2 minutes ago and now says fuck? I just find that interesting.
She's getting
You're
built up.
Now I'm getting
It's
heated
progression.
Just imagine what it's going to be like by the end of this thing.
What the F is your problem?
And no, and
What the
then he
F?
decided to call Ashley a bully. Like one of the like sweetest women on the planet.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. And this is all meanwhile, like I'm pretty much calling him on to like, come at me, bro. And he's like calling you a bully and calling Ashley a bully. And I was like, hi, I'm right here. Like, I'm totally ready for this. Let's do it. Like, I was ready just to give up my mod status because I wanted to tell this guy to exactly where he can go and how to get there.
That's the most anger I've ever seen you, I think.
I was really, really, really pissed.
Yeah. I know Cody would not have handled it that way, right, Cody?
No.
Yeah.
Cody, I handled it my way.
You dropped
I came in.
You dropped
I came in. I came in. I shit on his face, and then I blocked him from the group.
Came in like Superman.
Yeah. I guess let me ask CP this question then. I'll ask CP. Do you think that there's too much Halloween posts in killer flicks?
Oh God.
Oh,
here we go.
You see, it's as much as I have a good time making fun of all you guys. It's if it were Friday the 13th news, I'd be 10 times as excited. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, I mean, I get also. Listen, I'm not that fired up about Halloween, so I get it. But at the same time, just scroll.
Yeah, just scroll.
Also, if you're into it and you've been in the group for longer than an hour, you should know that perhaps Halloween gets touched on every now and again. Just say, hey, look, let me just check it. Or like that guy did, he searched the word Halloween. If you want to say, hey, what? Let me see who the director of photography, what people's thoughts are. Just do the search bar, Halloween director of photography, and see if there's previous stuff up on it. Yeah. Other than that, like I get it, but like I complain, but I'm not really complaining. Like I just scroll if I don't like it. Like I don't.
Like we tease Lee.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, come on.
But we're in the same clique, so we can do that because we're the mean girls and we sit at the popular table.
Yeah, what was with all the mean girl gifts?
Well, because he said that we were all a clique and you tagged your friends in to gang up on him. I'm like, no, bitch, I was just lurking here. I saw this happening and I jumped in.
Yeah,
nothing had me tagged.
And then he tried to take on like the Winona Ryder and Heather's role and started posting Heather's memes. It was weird.
It was very strange.
I look at the Halloween thing like this. I think if you took out all the posts bitching about Halloween posts, I think Halloween posts would be cut in half.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's not so much that it's the frequency. The only thing that annoys me a little bit, and it's enough where I can just scroll past it. I mean, I'm an adult. Is like the constant polls. Like, what's a better movie? Shawshank Redemption, 2001: A Space Odyssey, or Halloween. And it doesn't matter what fucking poll it is, what the question is. If Halloween is in there, it's like it demolishes everything. That's why I posted a little joke this morning. I was like, what's the best movie that isn't Halloween? And I put Halloween 1978, original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. And then
hey, listen, me and George is making
it's making a comeback.
It's making a case in that.
But I think it's for those of us that know that there's more movies out there besides John Carpenter's Halloween, I think that what gets old about it is how much everybody's just like this all the time with Halloween.
Yeah.
So
just like what?
Yeah. Like
a lot of hand gesturing going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody's doing this. I'm all.
Let's just all do hand gestures now.
How many dicks are in the room?
Exactly. But I mean, look. I don't understand. Look, you got Halloween 2018 coming out. I mean, this is a movie that it's the most talked about horror movie that I've seen in quite a long time, maybe except for like maybe. And it was talked about at this frequency this time last year too. So I mean, it's just I don't know. Like CP said, scroll past it.
Bryan, let me ask you a question because I don't remember people getting this heated about it as far as like talking about it too much. Why do you think they're doing this with Halloween?
I'd say mostly because a lot of people are just knobheads. Look, it's just, it's like...
Today's word of the day is knobhead, by the way, people.
It is, yeah. But the fact of the matter is that the group Killer Flicks was built on Jason, Michael, and Freddy. Like, you know, it was built on fans of those three franchises, and no matter what you try and do to steer people away from that, it's always going to come back to it. Do I personally like it? Not particularly. I'm a fan of those three franchises to varying degrees.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see a post on just those three things every day. But you know what? I have this wonderful button on my mouse called the scroll button, and it takes me right past those bad boys. So seriously, like, my problem with that guy's comment is he goes on the attack against the admins and whatnot, but the admins have tried. The admins have tried to do master posts. They've tried to do announcements, asking people to talk about other things. To, you know, it's like, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a democracy, which is that the people will do what the people will do. So, you know, like, don't blame the admins, blame the people on there. If you don't like what the people are doing, then piss off somewhere else.
Or block them.
Yeah, if you see somebody posting way too much horror stuff or anything that they post just doesn't interest you, you can block them. Like, just try not to, like, block admins or mods, but you can block other people in the group if they're posting too much Halloween shit and you're getting annoyed.
I think only 2 people see my stuff anyway, so that...
I'm one of them.
Tom Ferrara.
Yeah, you beat me to
thank
it.
you.
I was going to say Tom Ferrara, thank you for the $4.99. Also, big hello to Rebecca Reinhardt. I consider her like the mother of Killer Flicks because she always does the questions of the days. She's always like so active in the group, and we love her to death. So,
Shout out to Cody Archer, sir.
Yeah, Cody Archer's
created
there's so many key players in Killer Flicks. So.
When he gets testy, that's when you know shit's hitting him.
Pimp Daddy Michael Mims.
Yeah, I never see Cody Archer mad, so that's great. Is Cody in the chat? I didn't see him in there. Is he?
Yeah. No. You said question of the day, and I was.
Oh, no, Codeman. He was in there.
Oh, is he? Is he?
Yeah, I saw him earlier.
Cody. My apologies.
Here, Tom Ferrara. His question was about Godzilla. Now, I have not seen, and I know Andrew Becker would kill me for saying this, but I haven't seen the original Godzilla. I'm not even doing it.
Toasty McGillicuddy's epic rant about how
You haven't seen Godzilla! What the fuck?
It's got a Criterion.
Yeah, I seen that. I was actually over in Barnes & Noble, and you know, those Criterion Blu-rays are beautiful. So, Lindsay, have you ever seen the original Godzilla?
Yes.
Oh,
definitely. Probably very, very long time ago. I also, one of my best friends when I was like in high school, he was obsessed with all things Godzilla.
Yep.
So I watched a lot of Godzilla movies, and
Lindsay, behind you.
Sorry. Oh.
Sorry.
Really?
I couldn't resist.
Scare Lindsay.
I did that live. I don't care. Go ahead.
No, I've watched pretty much every Godzilla installment.
Wow, that's impressive. Because I've only seen like the newest one.
I didn't enjoy all of them.
Yeah. The 98 one. Like, Cody, have you seen the 98 Godzilla?
I've seen the 98 Godzilla, and I saw the shitty one that came out a couple years ago. Well, I guess they're both shitty, but
I
saw
was gonna...
Yeah.
Hey,
Way too much
wait,
credit
wait,
I actually didn't
wait
find the
a
one
minute,
from a few years
wait
ago.
a minute.
Go ahead.
You're saying the one from a couple of years ago is shitty?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I disagree.
I liked that one.
Yeah, that one's good.
No chance.
Like,
That was
I actually
fascinating.
cried during that one. Like, there was like good emotion and like a range of emotions during that movie, and I liked the way that they portrayed Godzilla in that one.
my
He was kind of like an
favorite Godzilla.
anti-hero.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have much to work with there, Brian. But like, I think that the movie was fantastic up until the point when Bryan Cranston died, and then the movie took a nosedive after that because the other two characters you're forced to follow, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, were terrible with each other for whatever reason. And the you've heard this complaint with that movie a million times, but if the movie's called Godzilla, show fucking Godzilla. Don't
I
keep
disagree.
closing doors.
Oh, yeah? So
I
what's your argument
disagree.
for Jaws, then?
Disagree.
Disagree.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll go first.
It's basically the Jaws principle. You don't
Yes.
show the shark until the very end.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Jaws works because of the suspense that is built up throughout the film. And then
But
you
you're
have the
comparing-
final 20 minutes, half hour at the end where the shark is finally revealed and all the stuff kicks off.
Oh,
That's exactly what they do with Godzilla. Build
You mean the
suspense.
climax of the film?
Yes.
But you're comparing it to Jaws. You got
that's
Godzilla,
what I am.
and look.
If you look at any plays, like scripture, like the biggest like the finale, the climax, is when normally you see those types of things.
They're shit.
Traditionally, you've been conditioned to see it throughout the entire movie, but that's not talented filmmaking.
Today's word is knobhead and climax.
Talented filmmaking is making everything up to the climax entertaining, so that I don't care if I don't wait until the last 2 minutes to see Godzilla. Godzilla was like, can I please fucking see Godzilla, because everything else sucks. That's what I was like.
And I blame Michael Bay for this shit.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I concur. Wow, me and Bryan agree on something.
Yeah.
I've never seen Cody be in the absolute minority before. This is
I know,
this
usually
is
he
quite
takes over the
interesting.
thing. But oh well.
It's because he's so tired all the time. He needs like constant things going on to keep him awake.
He needs to see Godzilla like every 5 minutes.
That's the most overused bullshit rationale for why that movie's good, and nobody. That's one of those you didn't get it kind of things. You didn't understand.
Do you need a hug?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Tony Roberts drops $2 in the chat. Tom Ferrer drops another $2.
Tom Ferrer, Tom Roberts, thank you very much. There are 34 films so far. Holy crap! I would have never guessed that. Jesus. I know there's one where he fights the Godzilla, like the Japan Godzilla fights the Godzilla from the '98 movie, and he like beats him inside of 2 seconds. Called Secret Wars. I know that one. You can look that up on YouTube though, and probably see the best part of that movie where he fights '98 Godzilla. So, Gojira.
What's mean about an egg, Rajesh? I was told I was like an egg.
Okay, we're going to jump into topics now. If you look into the top right, we got witches, true crime, killer flicks topics, and then we're going to do news, okay? First off, I'm going to go to Lindsay first on this because I got a feeling that she likes a good witch movie. What do you think makes a good witch movie?
Why would you say that?
I don't know. I'm not getting in trouble.
I think when, especially they, like when people think about witches, they think about like the traditional Halloween sort of thing, like warts on the face, pointed hat, broomstick sort of idea. I enjoy witch films because there is difference between witches and Wiccans, but there is history behind both, and I enjoy when they follow whichever they are concentrating on, the actual history, and like give it its due. When they kind of like make things up or exaggerate things, I think that it's kind of offensive to some people. Like our Gory is Wiccan, and I think that she gets offended quite often when it's portrayed in certain films the way that it is.
When I was in Afghanistan, the guy living right across from me was Wiccan, and he happened to be one of my best friends. He was one of the coolest guys I've freaking ever met. So I know that sounds cliche to say something like that, but it's true. I mean, you know, I didn't judge.
Do you ever meet anyone you don't like?
Felix.
The bestest friend I've ever had.
He's the bestest friend that anyone could ever have. Now, I'm trying to think of a bad witch movie, and it's hard for me to pull up one besides Lords of Salem, which I know a lot of people do like that movie, actually.
Blair
Bryan.
Witch.
Witch Hunt.
Go ahead, Cody.
Blair Witch.
Oh, wow. Oh, God. Cody, you don't like the Blair Witch?
I hate the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Look, I'll give that movie. Hopefully, I'm not going to be all by myself again. I give that movie all the credit in the world for the innovation with the marketing and with like the whole thing about confusing everybody about is this shit real, and that's what made it kind of scary for a lot of people back when it came out. Look, that movie is garbage. I know everybody loves it, but I'm not. First of all, I'm not a big found footage guy, so take that into account. But just that movie just feels like there's just nothing happening, and it's just even the sequel that's actually a remake is a better version, in my opinion, of the original movie, but still it makes a lot of the same mistakes. Like when I saw Blair Witch in theaters, I was like, this one's working better for me than the first one, but then it's kind of the same movie, but disguised as a sequel. But
which sequel? Book of Shadows or the newer one?
No, the Blair Witch, the new one, the one that came out like 2 years ago. But like anytime anybody says like most overrated horror movie, I always throw that one out. That's always my immediate answer because it's like one of those like greatest horror movies of all time, and I'm like, oh my, no.
One thing that I love about the Blair Witch, though, is it's so the opposite of the typical Hollywood polished type of horror film. it really just kind of came out of nowhere. It's one of the first found footage movies, but I think it's the best found footage movie because it doesn't feel produced, really. It feels like somebody turned on a camera or a couple cameras in the woods, and it's just like they really found these kids' footage. And when I saw this movie in the theater, I literally thought that this was the documentary because I saw it when it first came out. And then
Yeah, they had you believing that.
They did. I think it was one of the most genius marketing campaigns I've ever seen. And it was pretty much the onset of the internet really starting to take hold. And they used that. They capitalized on that. Mm-hmm. And, I guess the ultimate test is, can you go back and rewatch it? And the answer for me is yes, I can. I mean, I watched it again for probably the third or fourth time. The last time I reviewed it, I still found myself getting wrapped up in it. So for me, it works. I can see why it doesn't work for Cody. CP, where do you fall in that line?
Well, first of all, Tom Ferrara, thank you again.
Thank you, Tom Ferrara. I saw that. Tamara Glenn is doing a horror film, I think. But I'll have to look into that because I wasn't aware of what she's doing. So,
Tom Roberts also dropped a $1 dono.
Thank you, Tom Roberts.
What was the question now? I was trying to.
What are your thoughts on the Blair Witch?
Project. I echo what Cody's talking about.
Okay.
Really, really neat for innovation.
There's one for you.
On a rewatch, it's
Team Cody.
It's a little rough. It's a little boring, but I can understand why you like it, Lee. You like boring stuff.
That's a jab. I know a jab when I hear it. That's a jab. You asshole. A lot of
still shots.
Oh, just trees. Nothing but trees for hours. Cool. No. This is entertainment right here. No, it's a neat premise, but other people have taken that idea and moved on with it. Like Black Christmas, isn't the greatest slasher of all time, but people have done things since then. So it started a genre for better or worse.
It's one of the greatest slashers of all time, though. I will say that.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I mean, people have taken ideas from it and done different, innovated from the innovation. But Blair Witch, it doesn't survive the test of time, if you're asking me.
Yeah. Now, Bryan, did you see the new Blair Witch?
I've not seen the new one yet, but as for the old one, I've not been back to revisit it since I first saw it at the cinema, but it did have an impact on me at the cinema.
Yeah.
Like that final moment. I won't spoil it for the sake of those who haven't seen a film that's 20 years old.
20-year-old movie.
But yeah, but just that final moment proper creeped me the hell out because, and I don't know if it's like, to me, I was paying attention to the interviews. Like I think a lot of the stuff with the interviews at the beginning you can look at them as dull, but for me, a lot of it built up this lore around the Blair Witch and around the I can't remember something Parr, the serial killer, the guy who took the kids, and it kind of it got me really interested in that lore in the same way that you would be about an actual historical event, and because I was tied up with that, when those moments hit at the end, it did kind of it raised something in me, gave me the creeps, but I also think it is one of the most what's the word that it's inspired so many other films. So certainly the impact of it can't be
It's
denied.
a cultural phenomenon, and it's a groundbreaking type of film. Whether you like it or not, you still have to admit that it shifted the landscape of horror at the time.
And I think the execution of it is they nailed it. I mean, as directors, getting some of the performances they got out of those actors. I do think they did something special. Is it a film that I want to watch on repeat viewings? No, probably not.
Yeah.
But I do get the hype. And it's easy now, I think, after a whole slew of found footage films to then look at Blair Witch Project and think, it's not that much. But but back then, you hadn't seen anything like that.
Yeah, I will say when I saw that in the theater, that ending, I was shaken up. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty freaked out by it, and I usually don't get freaked out by a horror movie. Yeah. Lindsay, have you seen the newest Blair Witch? Because I know you don't watch movies, but
yeah, no, actually, I did manage to watch that one. I was pretty proud of myself.
Good.
It took me, I think, 3 tries. I made it like 5 minutes in each time, and then Tommy would wake up. But I finally watched all of it. And like there were some effective moments in it. Like I liked the use of the like the little stick people, and that it was kind of like the words are hard, or like the snapping part. Anyways,
knobhead climax.
It was a more polished, a little bit more ramped up version of the original.
Yeah. So like I enjoyed that because in the original, like even though it was so innovative of like at its time, the new one gave you all those things that you wanted from the first one. You wanted to see more.
Like, that last 20 minutes is pretty crazy. Yeah. Like Cody, you probably liked the new one, didn't you?
I thought it was decent. I think I gave it see it on Netflix. Like there was still a lot of issues that I had with it. Again, like I said, I'm not really a found footage guy, and I think the ending still kind of left a lot to be desired. Although the third act itself was pretty intense, but I just saw it as kind of it was a more appealing version of the first movie to me, but still wasn't anything that like made me a fan.
Yeah, that was my big.
I didn't really like the first one when it came out.
Yeah, so me and Bryan are pretty much the only ones that like the first one. Okay. Well, what you said, Cody, about that
Shadows is crap.
I've never seen it.
I was trying to avoid that.
It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I hate to admit it. I
Here
don't know
comes
why. It's
defending the Blair Witch 2 video.
No. It's so awful. I know it's awful. Like there are like no redeeming qualities to that movie whatsoever. But
it was tough
every
to
now
get
and
through.
then I just get a craving to watch it, and I probably watch it like at least once a year, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
Tom Ferreira, thank you. I have an idea about a monster with creepy eyes, no mouth, talks through electronic devices, and kills people.
That was pretty quickly. You got that before I did.
I know. Usually you're Johnny on the spot with that, but I'm not fucking around. So.
He always reads the chat when I'm talking.
Boobs with tits.
No.
Boob sweat is lubrication.
You got to change that name because that's just like that's troll bait.
No, they're from Killer Fix.
Yeah. No,
and
we had this we had this on Tuesday.
It was on your stream on Tuesday. Yeah. Okay.
Not against the profile pic. Favorite witch, Lindsay. Go ahead. What's your favorite
you
witch?
probably shouldn't be using my photo as your profile picture. Though. I'm just saying.
That's my photo. What are you talking about?
Favorite witch?
Yeah. What's your favorite witch? Like in a character in a movie?
Now it's not even maybe technically a horror though. But Angelica Houston from The Witches.
Oh, which is it of Eastwick? Is that it?
No, just The Witches.
Just The Witches? Okay, my bad.
The Roald Dahl one.
That movie terrified me when I was little. Like that scene where they're like all like peeling off their skin and like they're like people suits and revealing the witches underneath scared the bejesus out of me when I was little.
I don't think I saw that one. I'll go ahead and say mine's Fruza Balk from The Craft. That's probably my favorite witch. She was badass in that movie. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do gypsies count?
Yeah, go for it.
I like the old man from Thinner.
I was just going to say you were going to say, as soon as you said gypsies, I was like,
White men from town?
I thought you were going to say Tom Matthews.
That's my answer for everything.
That's your answer for everything. Favorite witch, Tom Matthews. Next question, please. Fuck you, Cody Leach. Okay. Bryan, favorite witch? Which movie? Go for it.
I'm a sucker for Michelle Pfeiffer as a witch, so I'm going to go Witches of Eastwick, but also kind of Stardust.
Oh, Stardust.
Okay.
Oof.
Not a horror, obviously, but
Robert De Niro's worst role.
We're all laying out stinkers tonight, I see.
Yeah, Jesus.
That's the guy who did Kingsman.
Yeah.
Did Cody give his?
Yeah, Cody, go for it.
I'm gonna take out a page out of Lindsay's book and go childhood. I'm gonna say Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus, Bette Midler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that is Queen.
I know that it's not horror. I mean, it's horror-ish, but I know it's tame compared to the movies we're probably going to be talking about. But that is the only witch movie that I will literally watch every year on Halloween. I love it to death.
Yeah.
Oh, so. Rebecca Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Good shout. Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If we're adding gypsies, that's a good call.
When CP said gypsy, that's what I thought he was going to say. I was like, oh, here comes the old woman with the tongue and shit.
Sorry. Wait. Blake G asks if what people think of as above, so below. I haven't seen that. You guys?
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
It's Française, no?
No, nobody.
Which one is that one?
As above, so below. It's the one in Paris, I think.
It's that
Where they're in
red.
the catacombs?
Yep. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cody. By the
Yeah.
way.
I watched that one.
Yeah.
I watched it.
There's your
but-
in-depth review from
I'm
Lindsay.
so motivated to watch it now.
Well, no, if I
watched
don't
it,
have
yeah.
any real like feelings for a movie, then you know it's not horrible, but it's not really good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like meh. Like if you want to waste some time, go for it and
Yeah.
skip Unfriended. But no,
Oh.
Lee, you're not going to jump in and defend them.
I like the first Unfriended.
I know you did. That's why I was making fun of it.
I did.
I
This
like
is
both
kind of
of
like
them.
Unfriended.
There's
We're all like
something
in a box right now. So.
But yeah, I feel like everyone keeps bringing up Autopsy of Jane Doe, and if you want something with like witchcraft lore kind of built in there, and like the softest performance of a witch ever, then
I haven't
Autopsy
finished it
of-
yet.
That movie was so awesome, and that
Yeah.
ending just disappointed me so much. It
Don't
felt
tell me
like
the ending.
it-
You can tell the ending.
I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I would
Okay.
just say like the tone and the atmosphere and like creepiness, like that movie nailed it. And then you get to the third act and it goes so cliche. You see everything coming.
Like it actually, like there was a few scenes there, like in like the corridor
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
elevator. I got like the pins and needles kind of feeling all
The
over.
old
like, where I
man
was
and the
like,
bell.
Yeah, I was getting a little freaked out, which is something that doesn't regularly happen. So
Yeah,
like
me too.
they did an amazing job with that, but I don't know what else they could have done with the ending
Yeah.
to make it please you more, Sir Leach. But for me, I thought that
He's hard to
they
please.
did a very good job.
Tom Ferraro dropped another $5 in. Says his favorite movie, 1954, Godzilla. Because King Kong's a classic. Why not Godzilla? My favorite horror film, Halloween. The original, of course.
Yes.
Cool. Cody
Awesome.
drops a $5 in with nothing, just $5.
Well-
Hey, Cody, thanks.
Are
I'm
we
gonna-
going to address the elephant in the room? Because
Go f-
everyone is just going
Listen,
crazy.
Yeah, I was
I'm
literally
trying
just
to
about to
lose
say that, Lindsay, but I'll let you go ahead and do it.
No. I just
No,
was
no,
just
no.
wondering if you were going to get to it or not.
The by far the best witch movie I have ever seen and ever will see in my life is Suspiria. To me, it's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So,
Is Bryan going to throw up? He doesn't look happy.
Brian's never seen it. He's never seen the original Suspiria. I know
Oh.
Cody's. Well, I'll go through you guys, and that's a weird way of putting it, but yeah, Lindsay has that beautiful edition. Cody, give me your thoughts on the original Suspiria while I show off my South Korean edition here.
Suspiria. That's the same one that I have, Lee. Suspiria is so far out of 3 giallo films. Suspiria is the only one that I can say that I like so far. I think that the tone is there. I think that the score is really creepy. I think that the concept and the story is really interesting, the way that it goes. But I feel like it's one of those movies that I got to a little bit too late. So some of the things are a little dated for me. And unfortunately, it fell victim to being overhyped because when I watched it was when it was like the it thing on Killer Flicks. Lee had watched it. Immediately was in like his top 5 of all time. So then I kind of blew it up for me a little bit.
That's rare for Lee.
Everybody in Killer Flicks is talking about like, oh my God, Suspiria! Like it was everybody's favorite movie all of a sudden. So I popped it in with huge expectations, and we all have had a few times where that happens, where you put your expectations too high, and even if you like it, you know, the way you liked it is always going to be below that blown up expectation. So it's a movie that I would definitely recommend every horror fan watch.
But did you just say that you got to it too late? Because like Lee just watched it.
I
He's
did.
80.
Well, there's
85, thank you.
Lee and I have very different tastes when it comes to older films.
We do.
Put it that way.
We do.
Yes.
We love each other to death, though.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Which is hard. So hard.
Today's word
No,
is
doesn't-
knobhead, climax, and hard. Okay. I'll go ahead and jump in. I'll say Tenebrae, and shout out to Dylan Clancy. Tenebrae opened my eyelids that I never used before, cinematically speaking. I was gaga over that just because of Argento's direction, the score, which I don't remember who did the score for Tenebrae. But then when I watched Suspiria, it opened them even further. And I had seen it was just a different way of seeing how a movie can be filmed. The score by Goblin is one of my favorite all-time scores. The movie just blew my mind. It really did. And I looked at it more of like an experience than I did just paying attention to the first act, second act, third act. I was just, the whole thing was just an experience for me. And it's one of those movies I would love to see on the big screen. So
there's a movie you might want to give a second watch.
Just for trivia, Tenebrae was scored by 3 former members of Goblin.
Oh, really? Interesting.
That's what it says. It's cool on the internet. It's got to be true.
Or Killer Flicks. Yeah. Actually, that's an inside joke.
Actually.
Yeah. Actually, you were wrong on the third act of the movie. That actor's name was not Roy. It was Ron.
Yeah. Actually, Spider-Man was a sophomore in that movie, not a freshman.
Just to fill you guys in, as life of a YouTuber, we always get those actually comments. And it's stuff that, like, why did you even tell me that? Like, does it make you sleep better to tell me that somebody's name was Sarah instead of, I don't know, just stupid.
They act like it's this minute fact that, like, they act like the fact that you messed it up made your review irrelevant. Like, if you had like if I had said, oh yeah, by the way, Spider-Man's a sophomore, not a freshman, suddenly my movie score would have been higher. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Yeah.
No, it's just like all the preparation that you put into like making videos, and then you're in the heat of the moment and you're trying to cover all these topics, and like the names of these people, but sometimes like your mind goes blank, or that happens to me a lot. Or you misspeak and they will like pounce on you.
Oh yeah, it happens.
I remember
every video.
One of my videos, now I can't remember which one it was. I might even have like taken it down, God knows. But I remember getting a comment and Cody just said it joking, but I literally got a comment of somebody saying like, loved the video until you said this, lost all respect for you, clicked out. And I'm like, well, no, you didn't, because you're still here, bitch.
All respect.
But did he tell you to go kill yourself? Because that's happened to me before.
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cody, yeah, I'm sure that's happened to Cody at least once a week.
It's always Lindsay too. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Those are private. I sent those to you in confidence.
Good morning. Kill yourself. Good morning, Lindsay.
Kill yourself.
Tom Ferrara, thank you again. I'd recommend you watch The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is a silent 20s serial horror.
Tom Ferrara coming at us with some deep-ass cuts tonight, man. I've never heard of any of these movies.
No, I actually saw that one. I took a class. It was a class I took in college, and that was one of our assignments, to watch that movie. And it's like, I think it's only like half an hour, 20 minutes, but it's a silent movie, and it was very interesting. It had some pretty creepy stuff in it too, I mean, it's one that I do see from time to time too. People always harken back to as an influence to modern horror from the 50s, just like Nosferatu. That one and Nosferatu are one of the ones that I hear the most, and Frankenstein, of course, and all those, but yeah. So, I guess we can move on to true crime, because I think with Suspiria, unless there's any other witch movies that you guys feel like you have to bring up.
Well, has CP and Bryan seen Suspiria? Because we didn't get their thoughts.
That's a good point. I know, Bryan, what about you?
I've not. I've seen 2 Dario Argento films. One I turned off because it was so bad I couldn't take anymore. The other one, I kind of had no choice but to watch it because I was reviewing it for Brits on Flicks, but I probably would have turned it off had I had a choice in that. Yeah. So, Trauma, that was the one I turned off. Phenomena is the one that I kind of wanted to turn off but didn't. It's got style. I'll say that much. There's a visual style there which is. Yeah, you turn the sound off. It's definitely worth a watch. And the ending of Phenomena is just like, nuts. Absolutely balls to the wall nuts. The soundtrack by Goblin was excruciatingly funny. Just totally inappropriate at times, like completely missing the tone of what I thought the film should have been going for, but turning it into something else entirely. I've seen the trailer for the new Suspiria, and I gotta say, I'm a lot more hopeful to watch that version than I am.
You gotta watch the original first, though.
Well, I don't know, because you had this argument with Italy.
That's
is
true.
it gonna taint his experience knowing all the secrets about the movie?
I stand
Yeah.
corrected. I stand corrected.
I want to go into the new one completely fresh and not have these.
Color. No color.
Jen and I were actually saying that we might watch, because she's going to drive up to watch it with me when it comes out, but we actually might rewatch the original afterwards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that if it's really, really bad, then I can wash that taste out of my mouth with the original piece. And it's beautiful, Bryan. Like, really, if anything, just give it a try. Just the tip. You'll like
You're
it.
dropping all the words of the night.
Tip,
So.
Lindsay.
Just a tip.
Speaking of giving it a try, because somebody actually commented this on Brian's Facebook group, I believe, or no, it must have been in Killer Flicks because it was horror related. But another witch movie I'm curious on everybody's thoughts on, because I reviewed it recently, is The Lords of Salem, and then we can move on.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Hate Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fascinated to hear Brian's thoughts. Lindsay, have you seen it?
I love, and Brian's gonna absolutely hate me now, I love Rob Zombie and his films typically. I really did not like Lords of Salem. I was really disappointed in him, and I was more disappointed that like Dee was in it. Like the cast in that, it was set up to be something that could have blown everybody away. And
CP, you seen it?
Not good.
Suspiria?
No, The Lords of Salem.
No,
It's fine.
Oh, God.
yeah.
It's like he just slipped on a freaking banana peel.
Yeah. I saw it when it came out and tried my hardest to forget it, and I've done a good job, I think.
This is what's funny about the movie to me, because you guys know I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie either, unless it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Sorry, Bryan. But it's... That movie is so frustrating because there's things in it to me that showcases like how awesome Rob Zombie could be if he would just do certain things. Because like the tone, the way that he moves the camera around, the creepiness, the eeriness, all that shit that I've never seen in a Rob Zombie film, that's all in The Lords of Salem. And I'm like, damn, this might be it. This might be the one. But then that Rob Zombie shit gets in the way, and it's not like it doesn't go overboard with like the hillbilly, porno dialogue like some of his other movies that ruin it, but it's something about the way that it goes in the third act. It just feels so disappointing and so direct, where it's just like, damn, I waited this long, because it's kind of a slow build. I waited this long for this conclusion. And I don't know. I would be morbidly curious to hear Brian's and Lee's thoughts, because I know Lee's liked quite a few of Rob Zombie's movies, and especially Bryan, because me and Bryan have a synergy sometimes. We're either like 100% in sync or we're 0% in sync. Yeah. And I feel like that's a movie where Bryan would be like, damn, this was so close.
Well, I saw half of it, actually. Let me correct myself. I saw up until the naked old ladies, and then I checked out. But I think visually it's one of his most striking films. And I am curious to... Somebody actually sent the movie to me, too, and I want to actually finish it. I do. Just because I do... I'm a zombie fan. I like enough of his movies to say I'm a fan. I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 some. I love 2. I like Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses. So I do want to finish it. One more movie. Bryan, did you see Lords of Salem? You said no, right?
No.
Okay, I didn't want to. One that I didn't mention that's actually our backdrop is The Witch, which is one of my favorite films of 2015.
The Vivitch?
The Vivitch, yes. Bryan, have you seen The Witch?
I have, yeah. It for me, it suffers from the same problems that Hereditary does, which is that the film is, on a technical level, absolutely brilliantly made, brilliantly acted. The performances across the board are just stunning, blow me away. The woman who plays the mother should have been nominated for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar, as far as I'm concerned.
Game of Thrones.
But I don't like the ending. Literally the last 5 minutes. The same with Hereditary. Had the same problem with that. I'd give all the same praise to Hereditary, and I'd consider Hereditary a witch movie as well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's stunningly made for pretty much most of its running time, but I hate the ending.
I love the ending. Yeah, I think the ending.
I know.
I was gonna say, I agree about Hereditary. Like, it's almost like they had this ending in mind before they wrote the rest of the script, and they said, "This is gonna be a cool ending, so let's write the story first, and then let's throw this ending on there." Just because the ending seems so like out of place almost. But with The Witch, I think the ending was the result of everything that came before it. I was really into the story of The Witch, actually. Anya Taylor-Joy, because the first time I watched it, I thought that she was, a witch throughout the movie. And then the second time I watched it, I realized, no, she's not the witch. It's more about her parents, and
Do you take Ambien the first time you watch movies?
I do. I take a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say, like, when I watched it the second time, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? How did I not know that she wasn't a witch? And the bad thing is I reviewed it thinking she was a witch, which is horrible. And of course, that's one of my most viewed reviews. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. Be sure to tell Mother Mayhem how Hereditary ends.
Credits.
Apparently there's witches. Thanks, guys.
No. We didn't ruin anything for you. Trust me.
That's throughout the movie.
Trust me, nothing's ruined.
And I'm mostly going into that one to see the performances, because that's what I hear the best about.
It's some of the greatest acting I've ever seen.
Same for The Witch. I haven't seen The Witch.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see The Witch.
Lindsay, my uncle has a copy of Hereditary. If you look hard enough.
I have access.
Okay. My uncle's. You have my young.
You got his uncle's number.
Yeah. John and I are planning on watching that one together.
Good.
Oh, yeah, definitely do. The Witch I love The Witch. CP,
Not
have you
The
seen The
Witch?
Witch?
No, Hereditary.
Oh, Hereditary. Yeah,
The Witch I have no
Hereditary
interest in seeing whatsoever.
Shut up.
At this point, I tried watching it, and I saw a scene, and I was like, and I'm out.
You're missing out.
Weird English.
You're missing out.
No, the baby.
It's
I
an
can't
experience.
handle it.
It's an experience.
I'm too weak. I'm fragile in the mind.
All right.
I'm with you. It's been, as soon as I had Riley, it has been extremely difficult to see scenes like that.
That is true.
It
messes you up.
almost fucks your whole night up. Yeah, but The Witch. It's one of those movies that I agree with a lot with what Bryan's saying. Like, there's nothing about it that I could say was done bad or done wrong. It's all very impressive technically, acting-wise, concept-wise, cinematography-wise, all that kind of stuff. But it's a movie that I'll probably never watch again. It's one of those one experience kind of things for me, where I'm just like, okay, cool. It's like a bucket list movie. You know, it's a coffee table movie. Have you seen The Witch? Yes, I have. And that's about all I need to say about it. But I think I don't think. If I can speak for Bryan for a second, if I know him as well as I think I do, I don't think he was really disputing like how the ending fits with the movie. I think Bryan has more of an issue with endings where evil tends to prevail. over
I
good.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
For me, it's the complete lack of hope. It's like because like one of the primary things that horror movies deal with is good versus evil. And often in a more spiritual sense.
Yeah.
So I think when you have a film that is throughout most of its running time very tense because you're dealing with this evil force, you have to put something hopeful in there. There has to be a ray of light, something to cling on to that is the opposite of that. Otherwise, it isn't about good versus evil. It's just actually there is nothing but evil, and I can't get on board with that way of thinking about things.
See, and I'm like the opposite of that. Like I tend to prefer endings that kind of say we're screwed. Like The Thing is it's a dark. Pretty much all of the Apocalypse trilogy, all three of those movies have pretty dark endings, and it's kind of. What is? Yeah, The Mist. But it's like John.
But the thing still has the thing to me is still a hopeful ending. It's a downer, but it's hopeful because you've got the sacrificial nature that humanity is willing to make, is willing to take in times of extreme darkness.
Yeah,
you got the Kurt Russell character who's willing to lay his life down so that the rest of the world is safe. Is safe.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's a hopeful ending. It's not the kind of ending that you get with a film like Hereditary or The Witch.
And Hereditary and The Witch is a lot more close to. They're diving a lot more into theology and all that kind of stuff than The Thing is too. The Thing's more sci-fi, so it's a little closer to home, I think, for Bryan as well.
Well, we didn't mention Season of the Witch, the H word.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go get a monster. Cody, give me your thoughts on Season of the Witch.
I love Season of the Witch. I mean, we know this, but I'm going to review all the films in September and October leading up to the new one, so I don't think my thoughts are going to change, but they possibly could. But as it stands right now, Season of the Witch is my second favorite Halloween movie. It's a movie that I kicked myself in the ass the first time I watched it for not watching it sooner, which was like 2 years ago. So I think that it was just a cool story. I think that the concept is cool. I love Tom Atkins. I think the score is badass. The whole motivations of the Silver Shamrock guy is just, it's demented. It's not played up to be as dark as it actually is when you think about it, but just putting out witchcraft that's going to murder every child on Earth because of the whole commercialism of Halloween is gnarly as hell. So I love it.
Oh yeah, man! It's funny. I got here like right when you finished your thought.
I was gonna say, don't act like you just heard everything I said. It's like I totally agree.
Season of the Witch is one of those movies. Like the first time I saw it, I hated it because of the obvious reason. Myers wasn't in it, and then I don't even think I finished it.
Second time, everything changed.
Yeah, the second time, everything.
So strange.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? How the fuck does that happen? I don't know. But
God
yeah,
bless Ambien.
But I will say the second time I watched it was like 15 years later. Like I left that movie alone for a long time, and then when I went back and watched it again, I was like, "Whoa, this was amazing." So yeah, I love Season of the Witch. I love Tom Atkins. I love Stacey Nelkin. There's so much fun to be had in that movie. It's got the best ending. There's your dark ending right there for you, Bryan. But yeah, CP, what are your thoughts on Season of the Witch?
It's been a while. I wasn't a fan. Listen, you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah,
I wasn't that big a fan of it because it's literally it's a complete departure. It's not a Halloween movie. I don't like it for the same reasons I don't like Jason Goes to Hell, because if you're going to put a title on it, I'm expecting something. So I haven't watched it with a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah. You need to, because I mean, if just looking at it as a movie, just like you would Jason Goes to Hell, it's a much better movie.
Divorcing it from the right. I haven't done that yet, but it didn't sit well with me. But that was due to expectation.
Yeah.
Bryan's brewing.
Yeah, go ahead, Bryan. Get it out. Get it out.
Oof.
Woof.
So, true crime movies. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're just gonna glaze right over.
Glaze over. Lindsay? Any thoughts on Season of the Witch?
When the first time I actually watched it, I was maybe like 13, 14 years old, and me and my girlfriend were renting all of them back when there still was video stores, VHS video stores also.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we were watching it, like you're waiting like 15, 20, 30 minutes in, and I'm like, are we watching the right movie? And we were convinced that we had gotten the wrong movie. Like the wrong movie was in the case or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we never really gave it a fair shot the first time we watched it. The next time I watched it, I think I was like 25 or so, and I absolutely loved it. It's just, like you said, Lee, like you have to go into it as a completely separate movie. And like if you like any other like Tom Atkins films, like Night of the Creeps, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, then you're gonna like this one.
Good comparison.
It's in the same vein. It's, you can't take it too seriously, and like some of it is like tongue-in-cheek but dark, like killing kids. That's messed up.
No.
But there's some comedic qualities to it, and that's, I don't know. I absolutely love it, and I'm sorry. Bryan, don't hate me.
Cinema Talk drops $2 and says, I believe Don Mancini is on Ambien as of late.
No shit.
Whitney Ryan Garrity. Halloween 2 beats Halloween 3 for the hot tub scene alone.
Touche. I don't know. I think I prefer Halloween 3 over Halloween 2, but they're close. You know.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. But
You guys could
Halloween
save
2
this
is
shit for
a
next
great,
week.
damn good sequel.
I mean, what's going to be left to talk about in Hollow Stream 2 if we just
yeah, I know. We need to back off
shoot the load
like
here.
hard. So.
True
Nobody
crime
wants to hear
movies.
what they have to say, anyways. Let's talk
I'm
about
not gonna
it.
have shit to talk about. Remember?
Yeah, but Cody's
Yeah, you
window
might
is
as well
actually
get
going to
it
be
all
like
out
twice
now.
as small,
I'm
and
there
they're
for
like
eye
over in the
candy.
corner.
Wes Craven.
Scream.
Boob wall.
Boob wall.
There you go. Okay, we're gonna go true crime, and I'm gonna kick this one off because I just saw a true crime movie. I saw My Friend Dahmer, which I really enjoyed. Like it
You
was really good.
motherfucker. I told you about that like in October.
Jesus, you think I freaking kicked you in the nuts or something? No, I got that movie from. It was in the last Creepy Crate, and they included like Creepy Crates include movies now, so they included that one, and I was like, oh, CP told me about this. I'm gonna watch it.
Damn, I should open that.
I should open that and try it out, but let me just say, man, it was good because it's a different take on a serial killer movie because you're seeing, you know, I guess Rob Zombie should have taken notes from this movie as far as what he tried to do with the first Halloween, but because this is how you do it, I think.
Got to shoehorn that H word in there, huh?
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I feel bad for doing it now. But you don't see Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, killing in this movie. This is him in high school, and you see all those little breadcrumbs that lead up to him becoming who, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer. And there's a few moments in the film, too, where he's, like, holding a bat, and he's, like, clenching. And, like, there's this urge, like, he wants to kill so bad. But, you know, he was able to, you know, back off. But eventually he caved into that. But very well acted movie too. I can't remember the actor's name. I know he was a Disney actor.
It's Tyrell Listen.
Yeah, he looks like
Tyrell Listen.
Oh my God,
There's
you're
no
right. He
way
looks
it's
just
not.
like Tyrell Listen. But he does. But man, he did a really good job. Alex Wolff from Hereditary's in it too. Any of you guys
right.
seen that one yet?
I haven't gotten to it. It is on my watch list, though.
It's also in a box in your house somewhere, apparently.
Yeah. So, yay, everything's coming up.
I just
Lindsay.
spoiled your creepy crate. You need to watch it. It's good. It's really good. Rip that creepy crate open right now and watch it.
The one thing that I guess I like and am a bit perplexed about with that movie, Lee, is the fact that they're kind of ambiguous. They don't really say Dahmer started killing because of reason A. They give you like a fork in the road multiple times over, like, you know, perhaps it's his homosexual tendencies. Perhaps it's the fact that he was kind of off and he had this weird, like they give you like 4 or 5 different reasons why. Go ahead, show us your address, Lindsay. That's good.
Yeah.
This isn't my address.
See, here I am. I'm going off on one. Hey guys, crime question: if all 5 of you were trapped in a cabin and the next morning you found Cody dead, well,
See you later, Cody.
Who would you suspect the killer was?
Me.
Thank you.
Jigsaw
That's
and
easy.
all of you. I'm just laying on the ground waiting.
He's
that
pulling a
door.
saw.
I think
Hopefully
we
you
all
guys
know
have
it
seen
was
Saw.
me.
Yeah, that's what I was. Lindsay would be
the
first
red
one to kill him.
herring all the way to the end, and then she'd get killed by the guy trying to save everybody, and then Bryan would be unmasked
I'd be the first to die.
for like in Halloween 3.
Am I still the final girl, though?
You're the only girl.
You're the final
yes,
girl in the
by
opening
default.
fucking credits.
Ashley and Rebecca would be there with me, obviously.
I said 5. I could.
Okay, she's literally opening that thing right now. Are we getting a live Creepy Crate unboxing?
But what content will you put on your channel now, Lindsay?
No, you get the Creepy Crate on the
When was the
Drumdums
last time I
channel.
did an unboxing?
I don't know.
Charles.
Yeah.
Whoa, all right. I say I pissed you off.
So I got to change the title now to Creepy Crate Unbox Mother Mayhem.
It's like when your mother. It's like when your mother uses your middle name. You're like, oh shit.
Oh, look at that!
There it is.
Oh,
My friend Dahmer.
Yay! Yeah,
You're gonna love it. It's good. It surprised me.
Is that candy?
Just
got excited.
couple couple of chats we just missed, paid chats. Tom Roberts just said 3 is my favourite. It doesn't even involve Michael. And someone else.
Tom Ferrara, $5.
Tom Ferrara again said, "It would be cool to see a crossover of Freddy, Jason, Michael, Leatherface, Ghostface, Chucky, Pinhead, and Ash Williams fighting each other."
No. That's my opinion on I don't know, cage match with all those guys? I don't know.
Pass.
Where do you go with that? I don't know.
Hard pass.
Yeah. Come on, people.
So true crime.
Yeah,
True crime, huh? We would keep
True crime. Zodiac is the best true
Thank
crime.
you. Hell yeah. Man, I freaking love Zodiac. Can we all agree on one movie? This could be the one, right?
Zodiac's in my top 20 movies of all time. I love it.
Me too.
I think it's Fincher's best film as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed.
I think the attention to detail is just staggering. Like the one scene where he had that tree imported in just so that it would match the original time period of that particular location. Just everything. Like he had files in the cabinets, even though they were never going to get seen. He had like proper detailed files in all the cabinets. He
didn't even show the first kill from the Zodiac Killer because there wasn't enough information known about how that transpired. So he left that out. And the scenes feel so real in the movie, like especially the scene on the lake when you got the couple laying on the lake, and then the Zodiac Killer comes up and he's just having this like nonchalant conversation with him, and then just boom, out of the blue, just grabs a knife and just starts stabbing her in the back, and it's just
really shocking scene.
Really shocking. One of the more shocking than most horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 moments of violence in the whole film. When considering it's about a serial killer, there's only 2 murders on it. And they're just, they stick in your mind. But what sticks in my mind is like most from the film is just how engrossed I get in this investigation.
Oh yeah.
This just all the little details of a proper police investigation, something that isn't solved with a smoking gun or something that the detective remembers at the last minute and then suddenly blows it wide open. It's a proper case, true life case, in which the fact that the killer was never caught is included in the film. Where do you go with that? How do you make that interesting when there isn't that payoff of catching the killer? And Fincher does it, and it's just staggering piece of work.
Renegade Hero also mentions the performances between Robert Downey Jr. This is pre-Iron Man, by the way, and Jake Gyllenhaal. Also Mark Ruffalo was fantastic in this. So many great performances all the way through.
Jake Gyllenhaal, fantastic.
Cody, have you seen Zodiac? I'm sure you have.
Of course, I like Zodiac. It's not my favorite David Fincher movie, but I'm a David Fincher fanatic, so that's not knocking it whatsoever. But it's when you guys were talking about true crime, I knew it was going to come up. But that was the only one I was cycling through Google for like true crime horror movies and true crime movies. That was the only one where I'm like, that was the only one that's like damn good. Yeah. Like the scene in the basement whenever Jake Gyllenhaal is investigating towards the end of the movie is one of the most tense scenes where nothing's happening. Like it's just his paranoia, and his paranoia bleeds through the screen onto you, and you get the paranoia that like you're in that situation. Yeah. And it's funny because like one of the scariest things that I remember from my youth, there was maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I remember like it was yesterday. I had the window open. You could hear the wind outside and everything. And I'm up by myself, middle of the night. And I stumble upon this documentary, The Zodiac Killer, and I get engrossed in it. And I start watching it. And they play like actual tapes of the guy talking and everything. And it's, exactly like it played in the movie where he just makes these weird ass creepy sounds. And then I remember I was getting chilled to my bone. And then all of a sudden, the very end, they're like, to this day, the Zodiac Killer still has not been caught or identified. I was like, fuck! So
ruin the end.
So yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I love David Fincher. So there's nothing negative I can say. It's a little long, but it's not a movie that's like that. It's a movie that should be long. You know what I mean? It's not a movie that I can pop in like once a year or something like that to just chill out and watch Zodiac. I need to be in the mood for it, but it's damn good for what it's going for and for what it's trying to do.
Lindsay? Go, stop. No, don't you do it.
I don't not like Zodiac, but it's not something that I ever foresee myself watching ever again.
Oh, wow.
And it's so hard for me because like Fincher and like Jake Gyllenhaal, we're destined to be married. So it pains me to say that, but I don't know, there's just something about it that it never really like just grabbed me that way that like the movie Monster does for me.
Yeah, Monster's a great one.
And I think maybe because there wasn't as much there wasn't as much emotion, and I think that I personally might need more emotion.
Yeah.
When I'm watching like true crime sort of things, like I want that like empathy sort of idea. So I didn't get that because of the perspective that Zodiac is told from. But with Monster, I really got that.
It's official. We can't all agree.
I completely get that, but that's not the way that I prefer to see those kinds of films. So it wasn't my taste. I don't think it's a bad film whatsoever. I think it's an excellent film. It's just not something that I love. Personally,
for me, it's one of those
all that ground you gained with Bryan this afternoon just reverted back.
I was going to say, for me, it's one of those movies that's like the director's cut, I believe, is around 3 hours. It's one of the few 3-hour movies that I don't find a single section of the movie where I get bored. I'm so engrossed in the story and everything that's going on. So, but yeah, I guess Lindsay doesn't like
a lot of people in the chat are naming movies that are not true crime movies.
Yeah, they're sort of like true crime, but they're not true crime.
Inspired by real events.
Yeah.
Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
What?
but Maven had a good question. She said, "How do you guys feel about fictional movies being made from true crime cases?
Thank you.
Do you think it's okay, or is it crossing a line?"
I wanted to get to that one.
It depends on how they handle it. Like if they handle it like Zodiac, where it's all that attention to detail to make sure that everything is translated from real life to the screen perfectly, then good. But if you get something like Pain and Gain, where you're making a mockery of real life murders, that's where it gets uncomfortable. Where you're turning it into a joke that people were killed and butchered and barbecued, and then it's then you.
I was laughing quite a bit through that movie, and I started feeling guilty for laughing because real people died. So it's
I didn't. Weird. Yeah, they keep reminding you throughout the movie too. Remember, this is a true story.
Happened?
So I was the same way. I was like, this is actually kind of enjoyable, but then as soon as it starts dawning on you, like fuck, like somebody actually died, and this is
It's like they're saying, by the way, you're an asshole for laughing at this.
Silence of the Lambs is based off real,
like Ed Gein.
It's like like Buffalo Bill is an amalgamation of, I think it was 3 different actual serial killers.
Yeah,
and obviously Hannibal Lecter is a real life figure. So I think taking real life incidences and making fiction from it can you can do something really special with it. I prefer, I think, them to make like to base it on the real events and try and go with an actual, this is fact, this is based on real events, and I think they've actually done some of the better ones made for TV. So a couple that I really liked were there's one about John Gacy, which stars Brian Dennehy. It's called To Catch a Killer. That was like a 2-part thing that was done over a couple of nights. That's really solid. I think. I think they were pretty faithful to the actual story. And another one is one that probably no one here has heard of, which is called The Investigation. It's from 2002, and it's about this serial killer who basically should have been caught. Kind of was caught after his first victim, but because the police completely cocked up the investigation at every single level, the guy basically went free and went on a serial killing spree that should have never happened. It's like I say, it was made for TV. If you can find it, it's called The Investigation. I strongly recommend it. It's not like out and out horror or anything, but if you like Zodiac, if you like that police procedural side of things, but you want to see how they cocked it up, then it's definitely a good one to watch.
Well, one Quentin Tarantino has a new movie coming out. I think it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood about the Manson murders.
Mhm.
I am so looking for it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt.
It's strange.
Well, from
that-
what? Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I mean it kind of. Go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
I wanted to temper Lee's expectations. From what I'm reading, the Manson thing is just something that's going on in the backdrop. The movie doesn't really focus on it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
I think the way you worded it plays right into what Maven was talking about. But like we refer them as the Manson murders. It's not the murder of Sharon Tate. It's it's strange that we. I don't,
people always like to throw out that Manson actually didn't kill anybody.
Right. But there's all this
orchestrated
fame
it.
It's more like the Manson family murders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just strange that we know more about the killers in a lot of these cases than we do, and it's quite unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
Especially like circumstances, like all of these other people that were there, that even Sharon will get mentions from time to time, but the other people that were there never get mentioned.
No.
And it's incredibly sad for myself every single time I think of it, and it like makes my heart hurt to know like that she was pregnant and about to give birth, and like you see the like photos of her holding like the little booties and stuff right before she died, and it just so fucked up.
Well, that's one of the most like, I mean, if you want to use the word evil, that's like one of the closest to that word crimes that I could probably think of, just because of the nature of the crime. And it's it's just brutal. And even to this day, what, it's been like 50 years now that it happened, but it's still just so there and so fresh, and it's just crazy. So I'm looking forward to the movie, though. Definitely looking forward to the movie.
Tom
Tarantino.
Ferrara says it was the moment while watching the ending of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla that Godzilla was the first true Jedi. You have to watch the film to get my joke.
Okay. Godzilla was a
dynamite
Jedi.
Drop in, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, but was he granted the rank of master? That's the true question there. Yeah. I can't think of any other true crime films. I know somebody mentioned. What's that?
Foxcatcher.
Oh, I haven't
That's a great
seen
horror
Foxcatcher.
movie. Great horror.
Well, somebody mentioned Town That Dreaded Sundown. That's based on a true story.
Yeah, but like most horrors are like loosely linked to something or other. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the real killer, was the Sackhead Killer back in the 40s, I think, 50s in Texarkana. So, I mean, they stayed pretty close to the source material.
Even when I was younger, I watched some my mom had. It was it was kind of like a series. There was like the Night Strangler and the Night Stalker.
Yeah, full check.
Yeah, those were good ones. Granted, I was young, so I enjoyed anything that was like horror that I could watch, but I enjoyed those ones.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can move on to. You guys want to move on to Killer Flicks topics?
Why not?
Let's get in there.
Okay, let me go to the Killer Flicks top. I have it pulled up right here. I'm
Tom Ferrara, $2 is most likely.
Thank you, Tom Ferrara, man.
Cool.
You've really been above and beyond. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really, really kind.
Yeah.
Okay, is Dick Troll a movie or? Okay, Wolf Myers. Yeah, I mean, Wolf Myers, he does all these like custom covers, Blu-ray covers. Very talented. He himself has a channel of his own, so definitely check out his channel. He does a lot of great Halloween updates too. He's one of the bigger
I was
ones.
waiting for that to lead in. I was like, his Blu-ray covers, really? That's what you're
Well,
starting?
now give me a chance. Give me a chance.
All right.
Well, he wants people on his channel watching his updates, so he doesn't want them to know that other people do it too.
Nobody else talks about Halloween on
asshole.
YouTube. God damn it!
Okay. His topic is late 90s slasher movies. When is it acceptable to call them classics? And I say that loosely. Based on the late 90s, we called a lot of 70s horror movies classics. 20 years later, why are we still calling some of them classics? I still hear official sites calling them modern movies. I think they're. 90s movies. It's been enough time to where Scream is a classic. I think. I don't use that word. Loosely though. I mean, I don't call Urban Legend a classic, even though it's a good movie.
I think it's because like the classics that like we refer to is the ones that were kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
They created the genres that we know and love now. The modern horrors, like the Screams, the I Know What You Did Last Summer, the Urban Legends, those were modern because they are modern. Like they're when they were getting more into like the technology kind of aspect of things, and like the edgier MTV kind of horror movies.
It's a generational thing too, where the slashers had that, they kind of died off at the early 90s, and then Scream came back, and that was the beginning of a new generation. And we might have seen the end of it recently, but you know, it's still part of a different generation of movies.
Yeah.
Again, as well, can we not like, can we not act like the only movies that get to be called horror are slasher movies? Because like
of course.
You look at 90s movies like Seven and Silence of the Lambs and Blair Witch.
Seven is a classic.
Yeah, you know, like we do consider them classics. So if you mean, why aren't we referring to the slashers as classics? Well, the truth is, because there hasn't been that many. Scream is it. You know, if you're talking about slashers, the 90s didn't really produce that many in the classic mold.
No, not at all.
You know, I think films now that are being made, films like It Follows, The Babadook, The Witch, films like that will be referred to as classics 10 years from now. But Scream created a cycle of these, you know, new modern slasher movies, but none of those slasher movies that came after Scream came close to being what Scream was, as far as I'm aware. But
Agreed.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything to add, guys, before I move on to the next one?
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven? Scream.
Scream.
Yeah, he did do Scream. Boob wall. Okay, let's see.
Boob wall.
Okay, Knobhead, Climax, Boob wall. Okay, let's move on to the next.
They have no idea what's going on
I know,
right now.
isn't it great?
They don't get to know.
We'll take this to the grave. This is our little secret. Blake Gardner, I'll just give him a shout out because he's a really cool guy on Killer Flicks. Always like his posts. But he mentioned Suspiria, which we already talked about, so I won't go into that again. But let's see. Alex Wilkins says, "Is Winchester a good movie? What are your thoughts?" I haven't seen Winchester. Any of you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything good.
It's came and went.
I love the Winchester story, like the family, but
I like Sam Winchester and Dean Winchester.
love those too. But no, I just heard that they don't follow the story faithfully, and that makes me just not want to see it at all.
Jason Miller says, "Let's talk about some badass creatures in film and horror video games." I'm not a video game guy. I know Cody is. Cody, do you have any badass creatures that you like in video games?
Creatures in video game? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I mean, you got like Resident Evil and shit.
Yeah,
It's the same monsters as the movies, really. But there's not really a creature I can think of in a video game. There's some great horror games, but but as far as movies, I mean, you got like Pumpkinhead. I can't wait for them to revisit that. That's the first one, at least, is a damn good movie.
Feast.
The Thing. I don't. I've never seen Feast.
I haven't seen Feast yet either.
So good. The first one's really good. The second one gets kind of trashy, and the third one is just be drunk when you watch the third one.
Be very drunk.
That's the one with that scene with the baby, right? The third one. Yep.
So that, or you can just skip it. Because I think it's the second one. I mean, I think it's the third one. I want to say it's the third, but then God knows you'd be watching the second, and suddenly that moment would pop up. The second and third.
You will know immediately when that happens too.
But watch the first one. The first one is hilarious. I love it.
Okay.
Tom Ferrara really wants people to know about Godzilla movies.
I was just going to say, wow. This $10 Godzilla tidbit is brought to you by Tom Ferrara. There's a Godzilla movie called Godzilla Mothra King. Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack. Try saying that 5 times fast. I couldn't say it once, so I'm not doing it 5.
I could say boo ball 5 times fast.
Thanks.
Okay, the next one. What is a lesser-known Oh, this is Michael Roberts, by the way. What is a lesser-known slasher that is a must-see for any horror fan? I'll go first on this one. I think one that's is really groundbreaking is Bay of Blood, also known as Twitch of the Death Nerve. I recently saw that one by Mario Bava, I think this year. But yeah, I mean it's got a really gnarly kill in it with a bill hook, I guess is what the weapon's called. But this movie came out, I believe, in like the late 60s. But it holds up. It's still a really good slasher, and it influenced Friday the 13th Part 2, namely, because that movie pretty much stole one of the kills, the shish kebab kill going through the back and then through the... Yeah, that's from Twitch of the Death Nerve. But yeah, that's one I thoroughly enjoyed. Bryan, any underrated slash? Are you a big slasher fan, Bryan?
I'm the same with any kind of film.
Yeah.
Like, if you get a slasher film done right, Halloween, Scream,
yeah,
then yeah, I'm a fan. But I think the slasher genre is probably it's probably filled with more duffs than any other, because I do think that a lot of people get into filmmaking in that genre. I think it becomes an easy. People think it's an easy target to do. Oh, get a bunch of people together in a wood somewhere, slash them up with a serial killer. It's easy. It's a formula. But it's not easy actually. When you look at the amount of crap that is out there that does try to just reprint that formula, it proves that actually no, it's not that easy. So there's a lot of there's more crap out there than there is great stuff. But yeah, when it's done right, I am a fan.
What's interesting about it is it's one of the only genres or subgenres that I actually enjoy the bad movies too. I'm serious. I can enjoy a bad slasher if it's got some good kills in it, and the other usual suspects that you look for in a slasher movie.
And it's called Halloween.
Yeah, that too. That can happen. You said it. I didn't. So.
The thing is that the slasher genre is that kind of it is that genre that has kind of set itself up as a place where people can come to for really base level stuff.
Yeah.
So if that's all you desire, then you can get a lot of enjoyment from these more crappier slashers. If you're there for, as CP calls it, the tits and the hits, then yeah, you're going to get a lot out of a lot of these crap films. But if you do want more from your films, then you need to dig a little bit deeper. You do need to go to places like Halloween and Psycho and things like that. So,
Lindsay, you're a slasher fan, aren't you? What's one of your favorite, I guess, underrated slashers?
I don't know. While you guys have been talking, I've been racking my brain, and I'm like, no, the ones that I know, I feel like everyone knows.
Yeah.
When you're put on the spot like that, you can never think of it, and I guarantee middle of the night,
oh yeah,
shoot up I'm coming out of it, coming out of an exorcism, there's one.
I think I'm the big slasher guy of the group anyway.
I would say Psycho too, actually, just because I mentioned Psycho. I think Psycho, any of the Psycho.
What do you mean?
Yeah, really, they get really overshadowed by that original Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. Because that original Psycho is such a classic, it's held in such high regard. It can be argued that it essentially did start the slasher genre long before, the 70s and 80s slashers.
That shower scene.
The second one has one of my favorite kills, actually. The knife to the mouth. That's a pretty gruesome kill.
I think Tom Holland had.
CP.
I didn't envy the job that Tom Holland had coming on and writing a screenplay to one of the most revered classics of all time, but he did a damn good job, and he gave a film that actually is pretty respectable, pretty well made, and deserves a bit more attention, I think.
Mm-hmm. Bryan, have you seen 7852 yet? Is it out over there?
No.
Documentary 78-52. It's a documentary about the shower scene in Psycho. It's incredible. It's really good. I think it just came out at the beginning of this year.
Right, no, I've not seen it.
Yeah. I don't know if my uncle has it yet, though.
Well, one must mention Anthony Perkins, too. I mean, his performance in Psycho 2 is just as good as it was in the first one. So he's a big reason why I think that movie's so good, just because he's constantly fighting his own demons throughout that movie. Like, he doesn't want to be, who he is. And I think in the second movie, they kind of explore that more than any of the other Psycho movies, I think. And, he's one of my favorite, horror characters. So I love Anthony Perkins.
I thought of something that might qualify.
Okay, go for it.
But it's one of my favorite movies, and I very, very rarely hear anybody bring it up. But it also is a slasher, but it's not technically a slasher.
Okay.
I'm dreading
April Fool's Day.
Oh, I have not seen April Fool's Day, I don't think.
I love April Fool's Day. But people have seen it. I don't know if it counts.
Well, then I'm going to bring up a non-slasher that may or may not count.
It is a slasher, but...
Every Which Way But Loose?
No, there's an Australian film that played only on HBO in the 80s, and it's starring Rachel Ward, I think. It's called Fortress.
Oh, okay.
4 masked men in Australia, and they kidnap a bunch of school kids, and it's not very slashery, but people die in that movie. It's really, I can't find it anywhere, so it's a deep cut for that reason, I guess.
Cody, you got any?
See, people in the chat love April Fool's Day too.
Oh, good. That's good. That's validation.
That's validation, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 people. That's all I need.
2 people. That's all you need.
There's 3 of us. We're now
4.
a gang.
There you go. Cody?
I don't think I have any real deep cuts that I've seen that I can consider classics. There's been quite a few that I'd probably be more on Bryan's end, where I'd have a rough time with them. But if I'm talking to people who aren't in the horror clique, they're not in killer flicks where they know all the horror movies and all the deep cuts and everything, I would consider, as far as just general horror fans, I would say that Black Christmas and The Burning are pretty kind of underrated slashers, because everybody knows the big ones, everybody knows Scream, everything like that, but any casual horror fan that always knows the easy ones, whenever I bring up one of those two, they're always like, what's that? So those are kind of the ones that I would be like, oh, you need to watch those. So
cool. I'll move on to the next question here.
My ass is falling asleep.
Wake it up.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay. Let's go Ashley Carrillo. She says, I heard a rumor about a remake for The Craft. How would you guys feel about that? I don't, man, the whole remake
Do it with all men.
What's that?
Yeah.
Do it with all men.
Swap.
Yeah, do it all.
They already kind of did that, CP.
Oh, yeah, The Covenant, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I think The Craft... The Craft doesn't necessarily do anything story-wise that's something that needs to be revisited. It's cool because it has that 90s cool about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the cast. Yeah, it's the cast, and it's that 90s thing. That's something you can't recreate. So
yeah, that's part of the charm is the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make a new modern witch movie, I don't see the point of calling it The Craft and trying to redo what that movie did. Just make a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that answer. I'll answer for CP and Bryan. You don't do it. Okay. Unless they think something different.
No.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Yeah.
Bryan's like, what's The Craft?
I think The Craft is actually really overrated, but hey.
And, jumping on to more of the remake talk, Cross Cardwell says remaking...
I feel like he just said that because I didn't like Zodiac.
No, look, I don't think
that was personal, Bryan.
I don't think The Craft is a bad film.
Exactly what I said about Zodiac. Weird.
It's not Silence of the Lambs or anything, but it has its place in the 90s,
Yeah, I think that's more a reflection on the fact that there weren't that many great 90s.
Yeah, and it predates Scream too. Actually, it came out before Scream. So, It gets talked about a lot today. Cross Cardwell says Sleepaway Camp remake. No, that's a movie you don't remake. You stay away from that. Far away.
No.
Yeah.
How would you cast that now? Like, they would have to be like CGI, entirely CGI, head to toe, for the ending.
Tom Ferrara, $5. Sorry. Dude, Tom, just so you know, every time you do this, you're giving $1 to YouTube. So maybe condense it and get a whole bunch in one shot. Why do Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street franchises have some of the finest looking gals in them? Winky faces.
Because they're the most high profile, so everybody wants to be in them.
Yeah.
Casting calls.
They're checking boxes.
Faces, not acting.
What was it? Adam Marcus said, "Give me a fresh kill and a fresh set of breasts every 15 minutes."
Every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speaking of killer flicks.
But yeah, for Sleepaway Camp, I mean, that's a movie that you can't recreate the successes of it. And there's some out there that probably don't even think of it as a success. But the movie is just, if you're a fan of it, it's so bad and cheesy and over the top, like 80s cheese, that it works.
Yeah,
and you just can't, you would almost have to make it with the intention of making it bad to make it even feel like Sleepaway Camp, and then you're making a bad movie for the sake of making it. So
I think you'd have to change that
ending. I would
ending
hate to have that job.
You couldn't put that same ending on there. You'd have to come up with something completely different, I think.
Yeah, you would.
Because you don't top that ending.
No.
Amstel54 says They Live remake.
No.
With the current climate in this country,
it's the same as the old one. It's the same as the climate they're going after in They Live.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, like Network. You can't. There's nothing to change in Network. Yeah, all right. All right. I'm an asshole. Never mind.
I'll go one more for Killer Flicks. I got Brandon Tabato. He says he's talking about life expectancy for, I guess, the big horror franchises. Like for this new Halloween movie, Michael Myers is 60 years old, but how far do we want to go with this? Like, 20 years from now, do we still want to have a run of Halloween movies? Or when do we end this thing with Friday the 13th, with Nightmare on Elm Street? Or do we just keep making them for new generations over and over? Lindsay, what are your thoughts on that?
I lost you halfway through.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was busy putting shit on her lip.
Well, no, I was listening in and out. Normally you don't go to me first.
Is there a point when the big three need to die, or do they need to just keep getting regenerated for every generation going forward forever?
Yeah,
they die when Bond.
Everybody's gonna hate me, but I think that time has already come and gone.
So you think they shouldn't be doing any more from now on?
No, because there's been too much heartbreak.
Yeah,
and I can't keep doing it. And then I feel like new generations, it is nice for new generations to be able to be introduced in a new way, so then they want to go back and watch the originals. That aspect of remakes is one that I appreciate, but they're creating like new canon for different franchises, and I don't like that, because then you have like the differences of opinion, like where in, say, the new Nightmare on Elm Street that they remade.
Yeah.
Like in the originals, it's like insinuated, like he was a child killer. They say that, but there's insinuation throughout there about molestation and that sort of idea. But like in the original, they never come right out and say that. And then in the remake, they blatantly, it's like, no, yeah, he diddled kids. And I
can't root for him with these fucking kids.
Yeah, I just don't like that sort of stuff. There's only so many ways that they can change these things, or like remake them, and remaking them, they're changing the original story that we know and love. So if you're going to change it, just write something entirely new. That's my
take on it. And we're going to have to wait until Halloween 2018 comes out before I can say it for sure. Yeah. I feel like Hollywood is learning their lesson with those big franchises now, because I feel like they've shit the bed with them enough because they didn't have the respect for the franchise that the fans had. They just saw money and they just saw dollars. I think that the landscape of horror has changed so much, and especially if Halloween, with it succeeding last year, with Halloween hopefully succeeding this year, we'll find out, Cecil. I think that they're starting to take them a little bit more seriously, and they're starting to have a little bit more tender love and care with it a little bit, hopefully. So I see I mean, Lindsay's right, but I see all the reasons why we haven't gotten a Nightmare movie since the remake, and we haven't gotten a Friday movie since the remake, even though those movies were financially successful. That I see it more as a glimmer of hope than the sign of the end.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with Cody on that. I think it depends on the franchise. I think with Halloween, they took this seriously. They wanted to make a quote-unquote really good movie, which it looks like it's going to be. But I think when you take a franchise like Friday the 13th, you might want to go the other direction and just give Friday fans what they really want. Just something simple, Jason Voorhees doing his thing in the woods. Don't overthink it. And I think they are overthinking it. And plus you got those legal issues. So, of course, that's a factor, too. With Nightmare, it's the Robert Englund thing. That's the problem that they have with Nightmare. How do you replace Robert Englund? That's why they're getting cold feet on that one, I think. So I don't think it's going to happen. And before I get to Bryan and CP on their thoughts on that, John Kyle Stanton, he's asking about my Halloween 3 sequel idea. My wife and I were actually talking about writing a script sequel idea to Halloween 3 where if you set it in the present day and what's the fallout of everything that happened in Halloween 3, maybe you have a descendant of Colonel Cochran, and we just got to talking about it, and all these ideas just started floating around, and so we were talking about actually writing a script together. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a timeline on that, but it's definitely something that I think it would be interesting. Even if we didn't write it, somebody else wrote it. I'd be interested in continuing that story to see where it goes. But Bryan, what is?
Does it?
Go ahead.
Does it have witty 90s dialogue?
I hope so. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night. Drumdum out.
I apologize in advance, CP.
That's okay.
Oh man.
Bryan, what were we talking about? Well, we were talking about franchises, big 3 franchises. When do we stop making these movies? Do you have any thoughts on that, Bryan?
Yeah, you don't. Simple as. Look, you look at these characters when in the grand scheme of literary figures, they're newborns, they're babies. You go back into other literary sources. You look at Sherlock Holmes. You look at characters like that, and you look at, say, even one that came later, comic book characters like Batman. Even Batman and Superman have got like 40 years on these guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And it's like you go through different iterations, and I think that the generation unto which these characters were born are the ones who are going to hold on to them dearest. And I think once that generation is gone, for want of a better word, I think then the next generations that come after are free to take these characters and do more extreme things with them, things that the original generation that kind of holds them up as their own would have probably spat at and said, no, you can't do that. But I think given time, these things will be done with these characters that we wouldn't have thought to do, and I think there's a lot of life in these guys. We just can't see it, because I think that there needs to be a big change with them. Something drastic needs to be done, and I think it will be done at a point.
I agree. I think you got to have. It all comes down to a good story, and it comes down to who's making the film. If you have these really talented new young directors that come in and they have a statement, they have something that they want to say. Take for instance Ryan Coogler, what he did with Creed 2. Rocky was pretty much done. It was zipped up, and then all of a sudden Ryan Coogler, he was a fan of Rocky. He was a fan of Rocky 2 actually, with his father. Him and his father used to watch Rocky 2 together, and he said before he even started directing, I'm gonna direct a Rocky movie. And so he came to Stallone later and he was like, hey, I have this idea, and I think this could be really awesome, and I think this could work. And he did that, and then we got Creed, which is arguably one of the better Rocky movies out of the whole bunch. So Bryan makes a good point. I think if you have good filmmakers out there that want to add something fresh and new to the genre, then people will flock to it. So, CP, any thoughts on that one?
the people that are making better movies in those franchises, with the exception of Halloween, because it's got something coming out. You've got some fan films that are quite good and quite better than half of their respective franchises. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the studios are interested in doing things like Ghostbusters and Overboard, and just shitting on a namesake. So, it's not like it's not out there. It's just not legally out there. Yeah. Like does it make a difference if the studio isn't behind a great film about your favorite character? I mean, Never Hike Alone is canon for me, even though I don't put it in my ranking video.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
There's, like I said, there's content out there. It's just, it's not Paramount. It's not New Line that's doing it. So it lives on through the fans regardless. So I don't know. A nice vague CP answer.
No, I always love CP's answers. Because I love how you just kind of peter out at the end and you're like, yeah, fuck
it. I don't have confidence.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that's the last one we're going to do for the Killer Flicks topics. Lindsay has a line going right now in her reviews called In Defense Of, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. She just did Jaws 4, which is a fun one. It's always fun to like defend bad movies. Any ones that you have coming up, Lindsay?
I'm going to start In Defense Of bad channels soon.
Oh.
Oh, zing!
Do tell.
No, but what was your lead there, Lee?
I was just saying, you have this new line of reviews called In Defense Of, which are really fun. Are you planning on any more of them down the line?
Oh yeah, I have a couple pre-filmed already.
Do you want to share anything, or you want to keep them secret?
No.
Okay.
They'll all be surprises. They're all like, it's all in good fun, and it's all like guilty pleasures of mine. Like, I recognize that they're not great films, but either their sentimental value or like funny scenes, just something that makes it special to me, and why somebody else maybe should give it another shot.
Cody.
And that's basically the bottom line of them. So expect to see some well-hated
You should do like an opposite line where you say, this great movie sucks because of this. And you could like say The Dark Knight isn't as good as everybody's making it out to be because of ... So there's your next line.
I don't know. I don't want like the leech mobs coming after me and whatnot.
Cody,
see what I did there?
Yeah. Cody, what do you got coming up?
Coming up, I really want to do a Prince of Darkness review. That wasn't just a joke in my Scream 2 review, because I rewatched it recently.
Oh, I love that one.
So I'm kind of going to do the Apocalypse trilogy in reverse, because we just did it in the Mouth of Madness. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do The Thing and The Thing prequel at some point. Scream 3, I'm going to try to get out this weekend, but don't hold me to it, because even after doing Scream 2, I'm posting videos, and everybody's like, where's the Scream 3 review? So, that, I still got some patron requests I need to get through. I have Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have The Prestige. I have Inception. Red Heat from Pimp Daddy Michael Mims. The original Fright Night. Black Christmas. I got some good ones. In no particular order. I don't know when I'm going to do them. But as far as new movies, I have no fucking idea what's coming out. I'm not going to see Happy Time Murders. I'm not going to see... yeah. So I'm not sure about new movies. Eventually, me and Lee will get to Phantasm 3, probably within the next month.
In-house.
Yeah, in-house.
Yeah.
Trying to think. There's got to be something else I'm missing. Maybe not. But that's a good enough start. So that.
CP.
So Salo has been a bit of an undertaking, because I've been watching the special features.
Okay.
And you talk to me live, and I don't know what the hell I want to say.
Okay.
Hearing people defend the movie Salo and say how artistically incredible the movie is really hard for me to take apart and present to the world. I don't know if people know what Salo is, but it's debauchery, the film, and it's presented as, well, at least it's got a Criterion edition, which means it's got high regard.
Yeah.
Have your balls dropped back down yet since watching it?
Yeah. It's there's a lot to unpack, and I'd rather skip it. Yeah, no pun intended.
That's another word for the night.
I'd way rather do a Serbian film first, just because I know that's a bit easier to. Yeah,
no, I have them pretty much on the same level. Like, I've watched Salo, so I'm like, I'll skip Serbian film.
How do you guys do this? I can't do it.
But next week we have a special edition of Final Girl Stream with Emma from Spooky Astronauts.
Oh yeah, that's a fun series you got going there.
Yeah, me and a bunch of girls.
Yeah, right.
Or just all girls, however you want to look at it.
You got a roast coming up too, don't you?
Oh
God!
I thought we were avoiding that.
No, you're doing the Killer Flicks roast, right?
Yes.
Okay. I will leave it.
Daddy just hit mommy at the dinner table.
I know.
I'm trying as calmly as possible to step out of that pool, but
okay.
Yeah. No, it's coming. I guess. Yeah.
Okay, Bryan, what do you got coming up?
I didn't actually have that much on the plate, just because I've literally only just got back from Zambia. So
look at that tan on him too.
You can take half of Cody's workload.
Finding my feet again, but I am going to be reviewing the Scanners trilogy. So
cool. All right, that's it. I got Jesus. I'm actually about to sit down. I'm trying something new here. I recorded a review for House on Sorority Row back in April, and I thought I'm going to let this sit for a few months. And then I'm gonna watch it again because everybody gives me a hard time for my second viewings. So I thought let's monetize that, you know. And so I'm gonna see if I have. And so I did. I watched it already, and I got to sit down and review my second viewing thoughts for that, which could be an interesting thing, you know. So you'll get my first review there. You'll get the rating, and then after the rating, I'm gonna pop in like now and say, hey. Here, have my thoughts changed on this movie since? Here you go. So
everything I just said is bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah. That guy is an idiot that you just watched.
You need to have like a rating on the front of your shirt, and on the back, I changed my mind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing The Frighteners. Thank you to Kevin Smart and Cody Leach for both sending me that movie.
Oh, son of a bitch!
But yeah, I literally had both the movies show up at the same time, and I was like, "Oh God!" But
you posted Cody's first, though.
Yeah. So, but
I'm just saying.
I got to sit down and review that, and then I got to do the last revisited review is coming for Rob Zombie's Halloween.
No, we know.
Yeah.
The last revisited review.
The last until I go revisit it.
I like that series that you have, Lee, the Revisited. It's very original.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lindsay. You know what? Since you said that, I'll go ahead and say this. If you're a brand new young YouTuber, okay? The nicest way I can put this. If somebody has like a series going on and they're going with a certain name for that series and it's kind of like branded to them, don't steal that name and start your own line if you know that person. That's all I'm saying. If you don't know that person, that's fine. Do what you got to do. But if you copy that, then it could, I don't know. That's my thought. I could be completely wrong, but
is that your way of saying you trademarked the word revisited?
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you know
it's common courtesy.
Courtesy, yeah. That's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. All right. Yeah, and then I think that's it for what I got for coming. I can't even talk. It's 2 hours, guys. Okay, Jesus. Okay, so that's it. I've put links in the info box for Bryan's channel, CP from Will I Like It Reviews, Cody Leach, and Lindsay from Mother Mayhem. Be sure, go down there before you leave here. Check out their channels. Please give them a sub if you haven't, although we're all like, you know, family here. Everybody, if you look at my channel, you probably look at theirs anyway. But if you don't, please check out their channels. Great content. So
today's edible panties flavor is
thank you.
Mango.
Mango?
Fuck you, Cody Leach.
There it is.
There's the flavor.
Got it in.
I just watched Hot Rod again, by the way. It's freaking amazing. I freaking love Hot Rod. If you haven't seen that, watch that crap. Cool beans. All right, cool.
What's favorite?
Wes Craven. Airbag. Okay, guys, that's it.
Blue ball.
Everybody, have a great night. Blue ball.
We're still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
We're still going.